All right. So today here to talk about Gotcha Covered of Southeast Edmonton and their CRM recommendations. So Gotcha Covered of Southeast Edmonton is a franchise of Gotcha Covered International, and basically what Gotcha Covered is they are a basic company that handles with blinds, window coverings, shutters, soft treatments such as drapes and that. So that's generally what they specify and work with. They generally overall they are a company that the biggest calling cards that they have as a company is they work with a very large amount of vendors and suppliers, ranging from the high ends of Hunter Douglas and Graber to more budget friendly ones that still have good quality such as Alta, or even local Canadian made company products that are from companies such as Maxmart. And overall, the other part that really sets them apart is the fact that they're known very well for their customer service and the fact that they're able to work with and really do what it takes to help the customers and get them what they need to help kind of meet their needs. On after that, we have our three strategic objectives. And so our strategic objectives with Gotcha Covered to Southeast Edmonton is to grow profits to over $100,000 per year within the next year. And kind of that goal is and how it kind of relates to CMR, because we plan on using information to keep better track of with customers, as well as keep better track of information and everything in order to help and keep customers happy so that we're able to maintain relationships and keep building the profits. Then our next one would be to increase the average number of monthly consultations over the next year. And when we look at that, kind of how we plan on and how we need or how they need it to work with CMR, is they basically again want to take the average number of monthly consultations, and to increase the number, you need to increase awareness and get more people interested, which is taking the data and using CMR to help create better, directed ads, keep track of people that might be interested or customers that might have more needs and ways we can work with them again and use that kind of information, as well as keep track of different what's getting people's attention and what things we can improve to get more consultations and more people interested in the company. The next aspect that they need with their strategic objectives is to double the number of clicks per month on their website over the next 6 months. And the big thing with this is, again, it's similar to when it comes to the number of monthly consultations. Is the biggest thing is getting people's attention and getting them in the door. Is so the need for CMR is to find different ways to find out what is working when it comes to advertisements and kind of what is kind of where people stopping and what's kind of preventing them from clicking or gaining attention within websites, as well as just the number of people clicking on different advertisements. And so kind of using CMR to kind of gather the data and find out what aspects we need to improve on and what aspects kind of are not really motivating people to come and look and click on the website. So that's kind of what we will need with CMR.
Hi, my name is Jared, and I'll be talking to you today about the potential target segments that Gotcha Covered can hit. Now, in our paper, we discuss a vast more amount of options. However, I'm going to be taking you through the top three today. So number one is new homeowners. Buying a house is a stressful and long process, and blinds and drapes may be the last on your priority list. We know budgeting is very important when buying a house, and you want to spare as much expenses as possible. Well, we're going with a five-star service like Gotcha Covered gets rid of that stress for one aspect of design, and those aspects do pile up, and it allows you to experience the joy of designing your future home. The second potential target segments we'll be targeting is those Southeast Edmonton individuals. Because that is one of our strategic objectives. We want to grow the impact and the size of that specific branch. So we believe a lot of local aspects have to come into play first, as well as we have to rely on a lot of word of mouth marketing. We just want to grow one specific area. However, it's convenient because there is a Gotcha Covered located close to these residents. So there will be an availability to access anything that you need for your shaders, your blinds and whatnot. And you'll be able to be a part of a thriving local community. Finally, one of our top three important ones for target segments is these elderly folks. Installation is hard for these groups in this demographic, and they may not be familiar with technology. So they may get lost on the site when we are actually displaying all the options. So that's why we believe through an effective customer experience, any customer will have no trouble at all what they're looking for. And we also provide that installation service that should be able to help anyone along the way with their process. Now, about that customer experience, if you look on the Gotcha Covered website, there are three main things that we identified would be a good change for Gotcha Covered. So we believe that what makes a good customer experience is anything that's easy and convenient. So for ease of navigation, you'd be able to pick apart where you want to go on the specific website, and it's not confusing. Ease of access, you have ability to go to any of the features and the resources that you want. If you want blinds, you should be able to easily find blinds. If you want shaders, you should be able to easily find shaders. If you want to leave a rating, you should be able to easily find that service. And it should be easy on the eyes. It should be visually appealing. Now, what those previously targeted segments, what we define what they want is they want a defined path. So they want us to be able to take them from landing on the site all the way to checkout. So there was some confusion on the website about where checkout really was. You could get on the website and the homepage looked great, but as for the end process, you click on blinds and then there would be no prices that would be listed. So customers could get lost in the fact of like, well, I don't know how much I'm paying for. I don't know what I'm paying for. So that's where customers could taper off. So we would want to change aspects of that, either give them a rough estimate quote or just certain pricing points. I understand if Gotcha Cover does things differently where you have to quote how much of blinds and services will cost. However, just rough guidelines would help immensely so they know what's in their budget. And another thing that we wanted to mention is assistance in the design aspect. If you can take a look at this graphic right here, this is just a prototype of what we were thinking about, but the site as of right now does not exactly have a good way to visualize what these blinds are going to look like. So much like other services like Home Depot has those paint swatches where you can switch out paints on certain walls, we figured we'd do something similar where we have these fabric blinds right here. At a click of a button, you could change them into wooden blinds or vinyl blinds or aluminum blinds. This way it helps visualize with the customer what they're actually buying and hopefully help them increase profit and help us assist CRM utilization.
All right. So now the next section that we have here is we have touch points. And so when we look at the touch points for the ideal customer on their journey, we have four key sections: introduction to the company phase, the initial contact phase, the first meeting and consultation phase, and the installation and follow up phase. First off, when we look at the introduction to company phase, we have different forms that or our ideal customer would come in contact that would lead them to the next phase, such as web advertisements, Google website via Google search, lawn signs, and other display-based ads, home shows, and business card advertisements. And those are all very connected, and they will lead to be able to fill out contact request forms as well as the call and phone number section. When looking at them, for the most part, you're generally with an ideal customer, seeing someone who wants new blinds. They want to, change up their new home or they got a new home. And generally, what we're seeing in this part is these customers are feeling excited, they're feeling anxious, but they're also feeling anxious. They want help. They want someone that's going to be there to, help them and make the whole process easier. And so what they're doing is with these, seeing someone that might be able to help them. They're, ready to and they're interested in, find out more and find out how the Gotcha Cover can be a service and how they can make the whole process better. And so through this, we go to the initial contact phase, which basically starts out with filling out a contact request form. And so with that, basically what the customer is going to see is they're going to go, that's via going onto the website of Gotcha Coverage of Southeast Edmonton. And that what they're basically doing is they're filling out a form that basically gets them in contact and provides kind of a little bit of background information, kind of the type of blinds or type of style that they may want. So it gives information that helps the Gotcha Coverage staff kind of have an idea of what they need, what they should recommend, what they should kind of go over, and makes it a little more simple and streamlined, just so that the customer isn't quite as overwhelmed with all the options that are available. This leads on to the call and the phone number, because after they fill out, they are able to reach out to a phone number, and basically through this phone number, they can actually contact and call Gotcha Covered itself, and they'll be either dealt with the owner of the company, or what they'll do is they'll be able to deal with a staff member or a member of the team that can basically help provide more detail and kind of have an idea of what could happen, as well as kind of get more of a sense of idea of what the customer kind of wants, what kind of style, what kind of ideas do they like, do they don't like. And then through that process, what they will do is they can also look at booking an in-person consultation, which is the next phase. And basically through booking that consultation, they'll work with both Gotcha Covered to Southeast Edmonton and the customer, and they'll kind of basically find a time or a day basically that works where that they can bring sample booklets and different booklets with different options in that into the store. And basically what they're going to do is with this book consultations, they're going to find a time that works for both of them to meet their needs. After that, we're gonna move to the first means that's consultation phase, and in this phase, first kind of touch point that we see is the in-person consultation to pick blinds. And basically, in this kind of touch point, you're either seeing the owner of the company or you're seeing one of the staff members basically come into the person's home. They'll use the information they provided in the previous touch points, and they'll kind of bring different sample books with different colors of blinds, different materials, different styles, provide all the options as well as kind of give them see what they kind of want or need, and kind of give the customer an idea of what they're looking at and what kind of stuff they would like to look into. And then after they've done this, basically what will happen is most people want a quote, and they're going to want to know what the price is and what's kind of going to cost for the idea that they have. And so with this, the staff member is going to leave, and we're going to go to the next touch point, which is basically they will send a follow-up email quote stating all the costs and a breakdown of what it's going to cost for each part and kind of what they're looking like total, as well as having an additional phone call after that to kind of go in and have a chat and kind of get into the headspace of where the customer is at and kind of figure out what they like, what needs to be, if there's any minor changes that need to be made, and kind of finalize everything in order to get an order done, so the blinds can be ordered and shipped so they are ready for installation as soon as possible. With this touch point, after that's complete, we will move into installation and follow up. And kind of with the follow up, basically, what you're going to see with this is an in person installation. So basically, generally, what's going to happen with this is you're going to see one of the staff members that got you covered to Southeast Edmonton. They're going to go and bring all the blinds into the house with a third party contractor that is an installer that is hired out. And basically, what they're going to do is they're going to move that they're going to use the blinds. They're going to install all the blinds. The customers generally would just be there as present, so they're there and able to see what's happening and monitor, make sure everything's okay, as well as communicate with the installer if there's minor changes of how they want it installed or things like that. So they're able to communicate that with the installer at the time, so that everything is how they need. After that, and so like that way, that allows the customer to kind of get that feeling of excitement, but also still be comfortable with it because they're able to be there. They're able to kind of have an idea of what's happening instead of just kind of being left in the dark and waiting for everything to kind of happen. And so, kind of after once the in person installation is done, the next touch point and the final touch point is basically a follow up email. Sent from Gotcha Cover to Southeast Edmonton, kind of asking with a survey as well as kind of asking for feedback on how they did, as well as some review a link to put some reviews in so people can kind of see how they felt. And basically through this kind of touch point, we're kind of or what Gotcha Cover Southeast Edmonton is doing is they're trying to gather information on what they can do better, what kind of needs to be done, and right, like how can they improve and how can they provide a better service to customers, both to the customer that just helped or for any future customers. And they're kind of using this information to make the customer feel valued and kind of work with them to make sure that they, even if it wasn't the best experience initially, they can still work to improve it and will make the whole experience better overall, as well as again learn for different ways and find new tactics and different things that can make the experience better for other people for future consultations.
All right, so for the CRM solution, well, there are three main strategic objectives that Gotcha Covered has. And to kind of reiterate them, the first one is they want to exceed $100,000 in profit by 2023. So to do this, Gotcha Covered can leverage Salesforce Sales Cloud, and particularly, they can use the opportunity management feature to manage the lifecycle of all sales opportunities. Gotcha Covered can use opportunity management to track the stage of the sales process that prospects are in, and it can even set internal priority for staff to focus on potential sales with higher profit margins, potential sales with higher probability of closing, or anything like that. Additionally, opportunity management uses data analytics to predict the probability of for clients to close based on AI sentiment analysis. And so kind of this analysis will kind of create and aggregate all of this data related to a prospect's interactions with the company and particular salespeople, and it will determine their likelihood to convert. Again, they can also kind of control the navigation of the customer or the prospect through the pipeline, and they can do this by using Sales Path with data analytics. And so this path contains a customized sales process with guidance for success insights. And what these insights do is they flag prospect objections at each stage of the sales cycle. And this can basically allow their sales staff to, or just any customer service staff in general, to solve problems as quickly as they arise to ensure that Gotcha Covered is upholding a strong brand image and is able to kind of push more sales and get more clients. For strategic objective 2, which is to increase the average number of monthly consultations by 50%, from 6 to 9 consultations by 2023, Gotcha Covered can do this by leveraging Salesforce Marketing Cloud to increase their local awareness. So the first feature that can be used is Advertising Studio, which this is a feature to create an omni-channel advertising experience. So Advertising Studio collects all customer and lookalike social handles, emails, and phone numbers, and helps businesses to target and manage multi-platform ad campaigns at wide scale. So these ads can be created, launched, and managed directly from the Advertising Studio. And there's actually kind of two key points I wanted to highlight with this, where it states that marketers who use 3 or more channels in a campaign earn a 494% higher order rate than those using a single channel campaign. Additionally, purchase frequency is also found to be approximately 250% higher on omni-channels versus single channels, and this is partnered with a 13% increase in average order value through omni-channels. So this kind of highlights the effectiveness of omni-channels and kind of that capability that Gotcha Covered will have to really kind of increase their average number of monthly consultations by increasing their awareness and pushing messaging on multiple campaigns and multiple platforms. And for finally, the strategic objective number 3, which is to double the number of clicks per month on their website over the next 6 months. What Gotcha Covered can do here to do this is they can use Salesforce Pardot. And what Pardot can do is help Gotcha Covered to drive more traffic to their website, because this platform tracks current website visitors and uses web analytics to determine which channels prospects are currently coming from. Pardot can also track multi-channel flows of prospects to competitors, which will provide Gotcha Covered with valuable market research and insight into how their competitors are marketing and reaching out to their target demographic. Secondly, Gotcha Covered can use customer profiles created through Salesforce Audience Builder, so essentially Audience Builder and Salesforce AI Einstein, they can basically merge together and can predict performance metrics such as open rates, click-through rates, and bounce rates of staff-created marketing messaging. And this can help Gotcha Covered to ensure that the content they're pushing is relevant and something that their target audience will respond positively towards. GeoPoint is another feature that Gotcha Covered can use to attract more traffic. And GeoPoint gives location insights regarding the location of current customers and website visitors. So this feature would help Gotcha Covered to create geo-targeted marketing campaigns in high concentration areas, as well as would enable Gotcha Covered to identify underserviced areas to expand marketing and business opportunities. And so that concludes the CRM selection portion of this presentation. And from here, I will pass it on.
Hi, I'm Travis, and I will be talking about the risks and barriers for implementing the use of Salesforce for Gotcha Covered. In order for Gotcha Covered to implement a new CRM plan, it is important to be aware of the risks and barriers. There are 2 major risks that we identified to be mindful of before implementing this plan. The biggest risk with any new plan is that it will not accomplish what it was meant to. In this case, using Salesforce does not ensure Gotcha Covered will achieve its strategic objectives. Failure to meet these objectives would mean lost time and money invested into the new CRM plan. To mitigate this risk, Gotcha Covered will need to review and verify its customer persona is accurate. This will ensure that the company is aware of who its customers are and what their needs are. CRM at its core is identifying and meeting customer needs so that they are left satisfied enough to return. Conducting research through customer satisfaction surveys will help Gotcha Covered to accomplish this. The second risk has to do with external factors. In recent years, a worldwide pandemic forced the world into a shutdown. Unforeseen factors such as extreme weather events, pandemics, or economic downturn could jeopardize this implementation plan. While window coverings are important to homeowners, the designer products Gotcha Covered offers could be considered a luxury and may not be prioritized by customers in the event of an economic downturn. While this is a risk, Gotcha Covered is less susceptible to this as it has a strong product line with great warranty programs. Good marketing and CRM will help Gotcha Covered to mitigate this risk. Thank you.